I think by my nature, I am not a glass is half full type of person. I remember even back in middle school looking at the other kids and seeing them, even after getting a poor grade on a test or knowing that they're fighting with their parents at home, that they would have this sense of careless joy, of fun. And I remember thinking that I don't think I'm capable of feeling that. By the time I got to high school, the negativity going on in my head started to take control of my life. I remember coming home from high school after a fairly decent day, talking to friends. I did pretty well in school, but just having this deep sense of sadness, worthlessness, hopelessness. It was something I had no control over, and I couldn't pull myself out of it. I knew I had friends. I knew I had wonderful family members that I could talk to about what was going on, but I didn't even know exactly what was going on. I couldn't put into words. I couldn't say, well, this happened today and it made me sad. I just was continuously in this sense of darkness and sadness. I just always felt so down all of the time. Eventually, I started pushing people away. I wasn't very kind to them. I felt like I wanted to be alone, like I deserved to be alone. And so I would just push people away because I was such a downer and I didn't want to burden anybody. And so the loneliness that I felt in my heart, I was making happen in my life. By the end of high school, I just had this sense of lifelessness. I was just going through the motions and everything was dark around me. I felt like I was in the middle of the world and the world was going around. Everything was happening normal for everybody and I was just here in this little dark cave by myself, on my own. It's hard to explain, but I felt numb, but yet I felt so much pain at the same time. Pain that I couldn't control. Eventually, I started creating pain that I could control. I started hurting myself physically, but that pain was mine. I created it, I had control of it, and in some weird way, it made me feel a little bit better in that instant. But it wasn't just physical harm that I did. I practically sabotaged my life. I made poor life decisions. I put myself in situations, in relationships that were unhealthy and that would end up causing me pain. I didn't consciously do it, but I did it nonetheless. My parents, my family, they knew something was going on. I saw a counselor. I was put on some medication, and if you know anything about mental illness or depression, you know that it takes a while for medication to kick in, and it takes a while to figure out which medication is right for you. Different people deal with different things chemically and everything, so it took a while to get that okay. But for a while, I thought I was doing okay. I was going along life for several months, years, just at this even rate. Never really feeling, again, those times of great joy or carefreeness. I just kept going along with life. I got to college and I allowed myself to be in a relationship that was very unhealthy for 4 years. But I had great people around me. I was in a sorority. I literally lived in a house with 80 other girls. It was crazy living with all those women, but it was a really good time. At any day, I knew I had 79, 80 other women that I could turn to talk to, but I just didn't think they would understand. I didn't think it was worth it. I just wanted to be by myself. It got so bad that my senior year, I knew that I couldn't do it anymore. I tried holding all of my emotions in my hands. I tried holding all of the worthlessness and the sadness and the emptiness and the hurt and the pain. I tried holding it together just so I could get to the next class, get through the next day, get through the next semester. But that senior year, it all just fell through my hands, and I couldn't do it anymore. I had to be pulled out of school. I couldn't finish the first semester of my senior year. In the book of Job, he says, I wish he would crush me, talking about God. I wish he would reach out his hand and kill me. Later he says, I don't have the strength to endure. I have nothing to live for. And that's how I felt. I felt like I had nothing to live for, that I just wanted God to leave me alone. I wanted everybody to leave me alone. And I just wanted the world to just swallow me up. Back at home, when I had to take that time away from college, I would just spend days in my room, just close the door, lights off. I would just try to sleep all day. Throughout that time, throughout that really, really dark time, I had 2 spectacular friends, Jana and Amy. I truly feel like God put them in my life to get me through that time and to bring me much closer with him. For Christmas that year, they bought me a Bible, one that I could actually read and understand. I was raised Catholic, and if you weren't reading King James, then you weren't really reading the Bible. So this was great. It was something I could relate to. And I remember one day, locked up in my room, so sad, feeling like I had nothing left. No strength left in me to keep fighting. I just opened the Bible. I couldn't even tell you what it was I was reading. And I finally let go. I finally turned to God and admitted that I couldn't do it anymore. That this depression was going to kill me. It was literally going to kill me. And I said, God, do something now, because I can't go on any longer. And I truly feel like in that moment he did. It wasn't a cure-all. It wasn't, the feelings of sadness didn't go away 100% right away. But I saw a glimmer of hope. I had enough hope to get through the rest of that day. And then the next day, I admitted to God that I needed his help, and I had enough strength to get through that day because of what he did. And as time went on, I realized that God's love for me is ridiculously crazy. Even when I didn't have enough love for myself, his love for me was infinite. And he never, ever let me go. I went from times just wanting my friends and my family and my God to abandon me, to leave me alone, to knowing that God would never leave me. In the book of Hebrews, God says, I will never fail you. I will never abandon you. I took that to mean that there is never an instant in my life when I have not completely turned away from him that he ever lets go of me. There is never an instant when he is failing me. There is never an instant when he is not right there with me in the darkness, in the pain, in the emptiness. He is there. I know that I'm going to struggle with depression maybe throughout the rest of my life. That's just going to be something that I might have seasons of. But I know I have a confident hope, a confident knowledge that God will never leave me. He will wait me out. He will wait you out. If I don't fully turn my back on His potential for amazing hope, He will be there. He will be there through everything. No matter what filth Satan wanted me to believe, and no matter what I acted on, God will never leave me alone. And the knowledge of that, the belief in that, brings me such peace, even through times when I struggle. And I'm so thankful for that.